Hey guys, Cole with Omega Customs here again, and it has been like forever since my last customs video. Not really forever actually, just it's been a while since The Force Awakens came out, and I finally finished these figures a few days ago, and I'm finally putting up the video now. It's probably my favorite custom video to review because that's probably been my favorite movie of last year, I guess. Yeah, last year. I did go watch it at the premiere. It was a great movie, and if you guys haven't seen it by now, then you're obviously not a super huge Star Wars fan. But that's my opinion. It was a great movie, and I'm super happy to finally bring these figures to you. I'm also happy that I was able to watch the movie before viewing this, so I could change a few things that I did in this video. But let's get right into it with our first minifigure. Alright, so starting off our Force Awakens showcase video is Rey. And I obviously have the Lego version. You can tell because I have her face. But I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing and just do her version that, looks like this. Because, everybody else was doing it, for one. And second reason being, I didn't really know what else to do to it other than painting the arms, because Lego's version is actually really, really good. So I decided to do this outfit, which you do see her in at the very end of the movie when she goes after, spoilers, when she goes after Luke Skywalker. I don't know why I said spoilers, because like I said in the beginning, most of you guys should have seen the movie by now, but I will say spoilers if I'm going to spoil anything, just in case. But she does wear this outfit in the very end of the movie, and I found a few reference photos of it and wanted to bring it to life because I have seen 2 pictures of people doing this figure, but never any videos on YouTube with it. So I thought doing this figure would be really nice because it just stands out from everybody else, and it's just something different that none of them have done. So I'll start off and show her lightsaber, which is the historical lightsaber that everybody knows. It's a better look at the handle. What I did was just take a regular lightsaber, and so it was like this, and then I just sanded off this bar right here and all of these little bars on the bottom, and then I sanded half of the top off right there to give it that slanted look. And then the blade is glued in, because if it wasn't, it would be if it wasn't glued in, the blade would not stay in. And I painted on all of those black lines along the bottom. There are 7 of them to be consistent with the original trilogy, actually. If you guys don't know, in the original trilogy, there were 7 black dashes along the bottom, and then in the prequel trilogy, there were 6. But I went with the 7, so that's just a nerdy moment right there. But yeah, I went with 7, and we'll get that out of the way for now. But I wanted to show you, since the blade could not come out, I made an extinguished lightsaber of it. Now it's just a crude design. I kind of copied the one I had made with the blade in, and then I added this piece in the top, which is one of those Lego piping pieces. So it does actually have the hole, which makes it more accurate, and then I painted on those dashes again on the bottom. Don't count these dashes because I tried to go for the 7, but then I think I went, if I remember right, I went over it. But yeah, so then she has an extinguished version. Alright, so the front of the torso. A lot to go over here. We have her the strap across the side, which is where she carries her satchel, and I actually made it. I painted that strap on there well enough that you can actually put a regular Lego satchel on and you won't see my painted strap. I mean, it shows through a little bit, but you honestly don't see it. That's the same for the back. So that's one fun little thing that I did. I will take it off right now because I like it, honestly, without the satchel, the actual satchel on there. So, yeah. Now I'll give you a full 360 view of her. Sorry, my finger's like bobbing in the bottom as I'm turning her on the turntable. Alright, so starting off with the legs, which are completely posable. Obviously, there wouldn't be any reason with that. But I painted dark brown boots on the bottom, and then skin tone in between the boots and the shorts. I guess you could call them the baggy shorts. And then there's that little slat on the side of her shorts, both sides, to give it, I don't know, a little more feel of like raggedness, kind of, I don't know, Jakku-ish clothing. Not really sure. I couldn't get decent reference photos of the sides, but I thought that was a nice idea. And then the torso, you can see that I actually continued the torso painting, if I can get this off here, onto the legs. There is that little bit of shirt, which connects with the top piece there. So I connected that. And there are these two little straps coming across her stomach right there. I was thinking of doing an actual felt or fabric jacket for her like I did with Han Solo and Finn, but then I decided that I would not do that. Honestly, this was the figure that took me the longest to paint. I just painted her a few days ago because up until a few days ago, I was still going to do the other outfit of hers, and then I decided last minute to change it to this one, and I am very happy that I did. You can see this awesome design up on her shoulders, and one cool thing I did with all of these figures was I continued the painting onto the top of the minifigure so that it looks like it's completely continuing. I can put the head back on. The only thing I didn't continue was the strap because I honestly didn't want to, and because you could put the actual satchel there. Her arms were just light bluish gray Lego arms, and then I painted on the skin color on the top and 4 dark gray dashes on both arms. And now onto the back. Take the hairpiece off so that you can get a better look at the back. The strap continues on the back, and we have shoulder blades visible right there, and then the design, same design that's on the front here, sort of on the back over her shoulders, but it's not, very, the design isn't completely the same. I couldn't get reference of the back, but I figured this was good enough. And the front, honestly, I had pretty good reference photos of the front, and it's pretty accurate. Alright, so that is all for Rey right now, and let's get on to the next figure. Alright, and next up we have Finn here, and right off I have a Lego's version of his face and hair, because honestly I really feel like that hairpiece is just amazing for Finn, and the face really portrays John Boyega to me, so I decided to keep those, and he's really probably, well, the second or third simplest minifigure out of all of these people. He's kind of self-explanatory. I mean, I'll give you a full 360 of him here. Alright, so obviously the ideal legs would have been the Death Star Trooper legs, but I didn't get that battle pack and I don't have those legs, So I just painted on little pockets, and honestly they look kind of sloppy to me, but I kind of didn't care because I don't pay much attention to them, and I'm pretty sure not many other people would pay much attention to them. And then I painted on light gray boots, or shoes. They're not really boots, they're more like tennis shoes, with a dark gray stripe in the center, because I wasn't completely sure what his shoes were like, but I wanted to do something, and so I did do that. And you can see that the painting does go all the way around each foot. It is on that foot there. And then I made my own jacket for him. A lot of other people were doing this, where they were giving him a fabric jacket, and I was like, that looks really good, and I really wanted to do it. So I actually had a few extra Lego capes and stuff, so I cut a few of those up and sized them correctly, and I made these jackets. Finn's jacket looks a little bit too small or too short in my mind, but I thought it turned out pretty good. And then I painted on all of the details on it, like you can see there with the brown for those two pockets on each side, and then all the black. The more I look at it in depth, the more I think I could have done a little better, like a little straighter lines, but I can't see that good when I'm doing it by hand. This camera is magnifying it. So honestly, I think he turned out pretty good still. And then there's his back. I copied this back off of the actual Lego minifigure, because I thought they did pretty good with it, so I just kept that. And then his arms, you can see I painted a little black across the bottom here of both hands to make it seem like his black shirt, which is underneath here, is like actually coming through underneath it, and like he's actually wearing a jacket. You can see the shirt in there, not much to it, just two gray dashes to give it a little wrinkliness. And you can see I did do the exact same thing as I did with my other minifigures, and the painting continues on the top of the minifigures. Don't count on that being a thing in my future figures, because I just wanted to do it for these figures, and I really think it did help a few of them look a lot better, but I probably won't be continuing to do it in custom figures. And then he has this custom blaster here. I just took a regular Lego blaster and sanded it down in a lot of ways, made that cone shape on the top, sanded that into a cone shape, just to make it look kind of like his Rebel blasters in the, or Resistance blasters in the movie. And then I gave it a gunmetal gray wash, which turned out pretty good. And so that's Finn's blaster. Alright, that's all for Finn that I can think of, really. I mean, like I said, he's super self-explanatory. But let's just go on to the next figure. And now we have Poe Dameron, who is, again, in one of the top 3 simplest minifigures out of these 6 figures. I took Lego's version of him and just did a bunch of just, I don't know, making it better. There's the full 360. So he was honestly the first minifigure that I painted out of all of these. I painted on these black boots on the bottoms, which honestly, even without the painted arms and everything, really just make Lego's figures so much better. And I'm super happy that I did those. And then I just painted each arm with this, like, these dashes down the side, like X-Wing pilots have in the movie and the original movies. And then I have like a little extra black on here because his gloves are longer than just a Lego hand, so I thought I would just do that. I also continued down like this tube, because if you know what Lego's figures look like, they usually have a little bit of a separation between the legs and the torso. You can kind of see that with this figure, how there's like that gap in between there. It's not very seamless, but I made it seamless by painting in these light gray areas on the buckles, and then painting the hose continuing as well. I also painted these little straps going around his legs completely, and you can see that. I also made it seamless on the back too, and the straps go on both sides all the way around. I used one of these regular, the older clone Trooper Battle Pack pistols that came in a few different colors, I think light or dark gray and then black. And I used a dark gray one because I think it looks close enough to his gun in the actual movie. The only gun that I think Lego makes that could be a little better are those ones that they gave to Sabine in Star Wars Rebels. Then on the back, I painted these white stripes up here in my own white, which you can tell is a little difference. It does look a little whiter, I think, the parts that I painted. And then that part right up there is also painted in white. And this being the first figure, I wanted to see how it would turn out. So I continued the painting all the way around the top. And you can see that right there, that these straps of the white vest he's wearing goes all the way around. And by the way, this is probably a good time to mention that another reason this video was delayed was because I have been working on a Lego stop motion that is going to come out. I have no idea when, because I'm kind of just going at my own pace. I don't have an actual deadline, but I am making a Lego stop motion, just so you guys all know. And it is actually featuring Poe in it, and my custom Poe will be in there. So keep an eye out for him once that video does come out. And one last 360. I was thinking of doing a kind of a silver battle damage look to his helmet, but then I was like, I didn't want to ruin Lego's helmet, because I really think they did good on that. The only thing I was a little annoyed about was these parts on the sides. I think should have come in further towards his mouth, but that was okay to me. Alright, so let's move on to the next figure. Alright, and here we have Chewbacca, and he is the least customized Lego figure out of all this bunch. I literally did nothing to the actual minifigure, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to put him in here, but then I had Han Solo, and I was like, it'd be a shame to have Han but not Chewie, and I know I didn't customize him, but I did want to put him in here because honestly, just because I made this custom bowcaster that you can see really well right here. I took a regular Lego gun, Lego blaster, and I sanded off the scope and the back of it, and then I added this other scope from the Lego rifles and the stock from the Lego rifles, and then I glued on these two antennas on the front. Since they already had those little ball-shaped bits on the sides, I thought they looked really great for it. So I took two of them and then glued those on the front. And I added another little piece of another antenna just here to the very tip, so that it looks like he's got a little bit of a nozzle on there. And those are all the parts, but honestly, I really think it looks good as a bowcaster. And number two reason, he can hold it straight out, like face it and aim straight with it. If you know Lego's version of his bowcaster, or the older version of his bowcaster, I haven't gotten the newer version, but the older one was just a Lego crossbow, and it would constantly have to be bent out to here, sort of, because of how he was shaped, and he would aim it kind of at the side every time you would face it forwards. But I was happy I was able to get this one so he can aim it completely straight, and I think that really just makes Chewbacca. Again, I didn't do anything to this figure. I didn't want to, because I only have one of Lego's Chewbacca and I really like it, and I just wanted to leave it the way it is. But I wanted him in the showcase, so I made the custom bowcaster. I'm happy that I did, and he's gonna be definitely the shortest part of this video, so let's move on to the next person right now. Well, we just did Chewbacca, so we gotta do Han next. So here is Han Solo, and he's probably my second favorite minifigure, well, tied for first, I guess, favorite minifigure out of all these people. He was the second or third, I can't remember, minifigure that I made out of all these 6 figures. We'll just give you the 360 view of him. I did not get Lego's version of the Force Awakens Han Solo, but well, we'll start off with his face. I used Lego's young Han Solo face. You can see it right there, actually. But I took the serious side of it and kind of darkened the lines on the sides with my own color, because I couldn't match Lego's color. And then I added these lines coming down on the sides of his mouth, and I feel it. And then I made dark brown or dark gray eyebrows, and I feel like it really makes this look like Harrison Ford. I think this is not to be biased or anything. I mean, it's probably a little biased, but I think this is probably the best Harrison Ford face, custom face out there of the Force Awakens Han Solo minifigures that people have made. I've watched a lot of them, and honestly, I like Michael MGF's face, but I don't see Harrison Ford in it. Same with a lot of other people's faces. But I honestly feel like this just looks like Harrison Ford. Now, to some people, it might look like he has a mustache or something, but I really think it looks good. So, leave me a comment and tell me what you think of this face. Then I made him this jacket. This was the first jacket I made before fins, and you can see I painted on those pockets and lines and everything, the ammunition pocket and everything on there. You can see just it's just these 3 gray lines to make his shirt a little more ragged. And again, the painting continues on the top. This is my favorite minifigure where I did the painting on the top, because I think that really looks good, having the skin color like meat all the way up with his neck and whatnot, because it just makes it feel like he's actually wearing a shirt or something. And then I just painted on that collar there. I did the same thing as I did with Finn, and I painted these strips on the bottom right here to make it look like he's actually wearing a jacket. And if you guys couldn't tell, he is actually not, it's not white that I used for his shirt, because Han Solo does not wear a white shirt in The Force Awakens. It is an off-white color, and while this color actually looks a little too white compared to that shirt, I did use an off-white color, and I was happy that I did that, because it looks just a little bit better than a straight white. Now, his belt was super simple. I didn't paint much on that. It's just, you know, the buckle there, and there are 3 buttons on the side if you can't see them. And then his legs, completely posable legs. And you can see the holster part comes all the way around to the side here, and then on the back as well. Continuing, I painted these legs in light brown and then added some dark brown detailing, like the holster and those stripes and stuff, and then black boots. I know he really has just really dark brown boots, but I thought black looked okay. And since I was already using dark brown for all the detailing on the legs, I thought black was the way to go. So I did that, and I'm happy with it. I'm glad it turned out the way that it did. So, yeah. And then this pistol, I made this myself as well. I took a regular Lego pistol and sanded off the front and the scope, and then I actually clipped off the scope so that it wasn't like sanded down or anything, and I put it on here backwards on the very front so that it gave that cone look on the front like Han Solo's gun actually has. And then I added a modified scope from a Lego rifle. I just kind of sanded it off the front so it didn't have that smooth rounded front. And then I actually used a bit of action figure plastic for this square part right here that we know Han Solo's gun has. Now it looks a little bit too much like a trigger to me, but I thought it looked really good for my own version of a custom Han Solo gun, and I'm super happy with it. So yeah, I made actually a lot of weapons for this. I made, Finn's weapon, Chewie's weapon, the Rey's lightsaber, now Han Solo's pistol, and you're going to see Kylo Ren's lightsaber next. And let's get on to him right now, actually. And the main villain himself, Kylo Ren, probably my favorite minifigure out of all of these customs because I did so much work on him, and Kylo Ren was my favorite character in The Force Awakens, and I really wanted him to just look right in this figure because Lego botched the helmet on their figure, and I was really disappointed in that. So I wanted to make his helmet perfect, and I feel like I did okay. It's still, being a perfectionist, I still don't think this figure is what it should be for a Kylo Ren, but it's what I was able to do for it. So we'll start off with we'll start off with the 360 view. There's not a ton of detailing or painting into it, but it was a lot of work. His lightsaber, for people who actually paid attention, his lightsaber hilt is actually black in the movie with some gunmetal gray in some areas of it, but it's mainly black. And so I was disappointed that Lego used the gunmetal gray, but I thought it was okay to get that lightsaber handle. But I did use this black lightsaber handle for my crossguard saber or tri-saber. I sanded off the little knobs on the bottom here to give it a nice sleek view look to it, and then I sanded down a red lightsaber blade and glued on the pieces on each side here. And I really feel like, again, not to be biased, but I've seen a lot of Kylo Ren lightsaber, custom Kylo Ren lightsabers, custom tri-sabers and everything, and I don't think any of them are as good as this one, because this one uses Lego's actual hilt and makes it just look like it's Lego, but it doesn't make it look as terrible as Lego's actual version of the lightsaber. And I was okay with what Michael MGF did, but I was honestly very disappointed that he used Lego's version of it. And I've seen a lot of other people do stuff like taking those half lightsaber handles that have the instead of the top here for a blade, they have like the sides, so you can put stuff in the sides, and then they glue on a top piece on the top. I had made one of those, but then I didn't think it looked good enough. And then I came up with this idea, and it just happened, and it happened really well. It looked really good. I actually made a little plug for the bottom here so that there's no like hole in the bottom, and I would take that plug out, but I don't want to like break it or anything. You can take the plug out, but I just made that because I thought it was kind of nice to have it in there. You can take this blade out, but you cannot take out the sides, obviously, because they are glued on. And I made a custom handle for Ray's lightsaber, so I did the same for this one to make an extinguished blade, and this is what I came up with. I made the exact same handle, like I sanded off the bottoms and everything. I did not make a plug for this one. You can see what the unplugged version is. There's like a hole in the bottom there. And then I took a black Lego tube, like Lego hose piece, and I cut it down and glued those on the sides, so you do have like a hole in each one of those for effect, and it really makes it look great. Kylo Ren, I think, looks really great when he's kind of holding this and kind of posing with it, and it just looks good. It's great for stop motion animation because I can use this and then I can put in the red blade and then switch it out with the next one, or with the other one with all three blades in. And honestly, that's one reason I made it, was so that I would have it for my stop motion. But I thought it looked really great and was really happy with that. Now his legs are just black legs, and then I cut up a Lego cape and glued that onto the legs. Actually, there's some glossy black lines here to give it some creases. And then I took a piece of paper, actually, to make this belt so that it was 3D, and then I just painted that to look like Kylo Ren's belt. And the torso is actually, I was given this idea by Legomatic 9, I'm pretty sure did it, and I just used a Lego cape and I glued it on here, and then I cut it in the shape of the Kylo Ren, or no, just in the shape of a Lego minifigure torso. And then I took the excess of the cape and I made these like raggedness underneath the hood so that it looks kind of like he's got his hood bunched up there. Now, this cape, I made this cape before the movie came out, before I had seen the movie, and I just had the trailers to go on, and I thought this looked like what was in the trailers, but then the movie came out and I saw it was wrong, but I was like, I don't really care, I'm just gonna leave it. And I didn't like, honestly, that Lego used an unstarched clothy cape, because I didn't think that would look good on this minifigure, which I still don't think it does now that I have it and I have tried it on. But yeah. Now Kylo Ren's helmet is completely sculpted. My one regret is that when I used the Cape Madness hood, which I actually did buy from Cape Madness, and I would like to give a shout out to my friend Jeremiah at Shattered Dusk Studios, who actually bought this on Bricklink for me since I didn't have a Bricklink account, and he sent it to me early so that I could get this showcase up here. So thank you again, Jeremiah, for that. And my one regret is that the hood wasn't looking right on my sculpted head, so I ended up having to glue it down here in the front so that it stays kind of forwards. So you can't completely see my sculpting for the head, but I think that angle right there just looks like Kylo Ren to me. And you can see how I sculpted, and it protrudes, his like mouthpiece protrudes from the front, and the eyes kind of, you know, indent in. Let's see if we can see up in there. No, not really. But I did a lot of work on him. At first I wanted to make it so you could have his helmet separate, but it didn't end up happening. Let me see real quick. Okay, so we can actually see the sculpt job right here. And that is my complete sculpt. I'm not very good at sculpting, but I thought I did really good on this helmet. I was really happy with it. I just used a Lego head and sculpted all this stuff on. So yeah, you can see that, and then just bunches back up and goes back on. I had painted arms, but then I decided not to incorporate those into this because, I don't know, there's something about Kylo Ren that I just thought these regular black arms looked better with the way I had made his torso. So I just left it regular black. So yeah. And then his back, all I did was use the same fabric design, and then I did the same thing for the belt on the back, and there's no buckle, so it's just an all black strip with the gunmetal gray to give it the lines there. That's all for Kylo Ren, but please leave a like and a comment for him because I was super proud of him, and I don't want to say that his face is the best out there because I have seen a lot of better helmets for him, but I was really happy with how I sculpted it. And I hope you guys liked how it was sculpted. So please tell me what you guys thought about it. And thanks. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And again, I was so proud of these figures and super happy to bring them to you. And I hope you guys liked them. Please leave a comment below about what was your favorite minifigure, what you liked about the figures, and maybe even what you didn't like. Tell me what figures I should do in the future, and just give me some feedback on that. So comment below, like this video, and subscribe for more customs videos and a few mocks, since I'm now changing my channel to more a customs channel than mocks and other stuff. Alright? Thanks.